All right, that was odd. Just as we were going live, somehow the equipment decided to go out for a moment, and this is why we had to start over. Anyhow, let's take a look to see what's happening in the markets today. And today is Monday, May 24th. And with me in the studio is my head coach, Mark Hodge. Hey, Mark, good morning.
Good morning.
So, looking at the markets here this morning, the stock index futures point to a higher open this morning to start the week after the S&P had its second negative week in a row last week. And the Dow had its fourth negative week out of five. But you see, for the Dow, the losses were minor. So, what's happening here?
Yeah, it looks like I like you mentioned the Dow and S&P were negative last week. The NASDAQ actually finished higher, snapping a 4-week losing streak, and it looks like that's kind of carrying back over into the markets this morning. Futures are pointing to a higher start with the NASDAQ leading the way.
Yeah, so if you take a look at the futures markets this morning, so the Dow is up 0.4%, the ES is up 0.57%, and I said the NASDAQ is leading the way with 0.81%. Over the weekend, Bitcoin still in focus because, last week we had a wild ride in Bitcoin, right? Last week, if you're looking at Bitcoin, we had this massive collapse where we're coming from 60,000 all the way down to 30,000. And even over the weekend here, if you see it, it was quite choppy. Bitcoin dropped under 32,000 this weekend. So right here, around 32,000 is bouncing back here this morning. So right now at 38,329. But this is definitely affecting stocks as well, right, Mark?
Yeah, wild ride last week, and it seems like Bitcoin's going on these crazy runs over the weekend, which is interesting. So back-to-back weekends, things selling off and looking to make up a little ground today. Things are higher, really all across the board when it comes to the crypto space. I saw that in China. Crypto miners in China, they halted operations over regulatory concerns. So that was moving the market a little bit. And miners in China account for 65% of all the mining operations.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's huge. And you could kind of view it in two different ways. On one hand, if there are less people mining, that could be a good supply, lower supply, more demand. So that could be a positive for Bitcoin. But at the same time, in China, if they are really cracking down on regulations and there's less access to it, nobody wants that, right? Everybody in the crypto space, they want people to have access to it, want it to be actively traded, want it to be mined. So you could kind of look at it either way as a pro or a con.
I know, and the reason why we're covering it is because it has an impact on the stock market. For
Yeah.
example, Tesla, who has $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. They're obviously affected by this. Last week, as we can see, also Tesla coming off from 775 down to 550, and this chart looks awfully close to the Bitcoin chart. Let me just bring back Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. And then here is Tesla. Oops. Jeez, Tesla. Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
where the charts are very, very similar. Now, Tesla this morning, a little bit bouncing back up 0.5%, pretty much with the overall market. But then we also have Coinbase. Coinbase, and they are up this morning 2%, after also last week sliding down together here with Bitcoin on the other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, 5 years ago, probably not that big of a deal, but right now, because of the way Bitcoin is crept into pretty much everything, and also there's just so much money in cryptos right now, it's a big deal. It
It
really
is
is
a
for the
big deal.
markets too.
Yeah, and it seems that the buy the dip mentality is still it's there, and it's in full swing. It has worked really well this year, if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see if there's some more strength this week. I know that with Elon, it's been a wild ride with Bitcoin. They announced that Tesla would take Bitcoin in February, and then recently he said that they will not take Bitcoin because of environmental concerns. I read an article that said that he was pretty much pressured to disassociate from Bitcoin because of the ESG, which is the environmental, social, and corporate governance list, where where they're like you don't want to get banned from that list because you're trying to say that electric vehicles are a positive thing on the environment, and it sounds like he was kind of pressured, even though he could still be a pretty big fan of Bitcoin. Of course, he likes his Doge.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, talking about prolific companies and owners, SPCE, the space company from Richard Branson, is
Yeah.
up this morning, 20%. And this is, so as you can see, they closed on Friday at 2107. And this morning, they're opening up right here, it seems, that at 2568. So they had a successful test flight this weekend of its Spaceship 2. Which they want to use for, I don't know, space tourism, right? So this spaceship successfully reached space 50 minutes after takeoff from New Mexico and then safely returning to Earth. Now, I heard that here Virgin Galactic needs 2 more test flights to finish the development of the rocket system before it gets a license from the FAA for conducting regular space flights. Now, I heard the next space flight will carry 4 Galactic employees to test the cabin, and then the last test flight will fly Richard Branson into space.
Interesting. That 20% jump, I think that says that a lot of investors didn't think the test flight was going to go well.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, once they get the license, right, this is when they can generate revenue, and that's
That's
the
true.
name of the game, because thus far they have been generating 0 revenue. I mean, they have taken, I think, pre-orders, but we know that all this pre-order stuff recently has a very negative press. So this is when they can actually fly people to space and generate revenue, and this is why investors are getting excited here this morning, up 25%.
Are
Well,
you
what
ready to
else
fly
going
to
on,
space,
Mark?
Marcus?
Huh?
Are you going to fly to space?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I might as well.
There you go. Hey, I saw AMC. It's up, which is interesting because their largest shareholder, China's Dalian Wanda Group, sold most of its shares in AMC. So I thought that would be a bit of a bad thing when their biggest shareholders just dump in shares. They had to file, do an SEC filing to let everybody know for regulations. But so far, up about 2% last I looked.
Yeah, because I think they had a pretty big weekend. I think this weekend, from the Fast and Furious franchise, another movie was released, F9, I believe. I just glanced at it this morning. And I think it does really, really well. So maybe that's that. So good news, bad news? I don't know. We'll see.
Few upgrades moving individual stocks. Coin was upgraded by Goldman's, up about 3% with an upgrade to a buy rating. So Goldman Sachs upgrade there, and Beyond up 4% with a Jefferies double upgrade.
Yeah. Also looking ahead, there are still a number of retail companies set to report quarterly earnings this week. So for example, we have Nordstrom reporting earnings. So we'll see, this is coming up in a couple of days. We have Urban Outfitters, URBN. Then we also have Gap reporting earnings, and Costco. So Costco should also be an interesting. We also have Best Buy. What's Best Buy? BBY. Not BBBY, that's Bad Bath and Beyond, BBY. So that's Best Buy here. And then we have Ulta reporting earnings here later this week. But also some of the tech companies will release quarterly updates. Did you see about that?
I didn't. I know it's a quiet day for earnings today, but I saw
Yeah.
retail
So
throughout the week.
NVIDIA will report earnings. Snowflake will report earnings this week. Workday will report earnings this week. And also Salesforce. Symbol here is CRM.
So some earnings trickling in this week, and a lot of we have a GDP Thursday, preliminary GDP red flag report,
Yeah, let's
consumer
take a look
confidence.
at the economic calendar here. So I think the 2 big ones to pay attention to is the consumer confidence that will be released tomorrow. So this will be on Tuesday. And then, as you said, the preliminary GDP, which will be released on Thursday,
Thursday.
together with the unemployment claims. I mean, the unemployment claims last week, they have been at the lowest level since the pandemic. And this is why the Fed started thinking about maybe doing something, right? And if they do, if they start tapering with their quantitative easing and their asset purchase program, and maybe even hinting at raising interest rates, this could send the markets into a tailspin. So we'll see. This is why I think it's important to see what are these reports doing, because the Fed said, hey, if these reports keep coming in better than expected and that we are doing good, then we have done our job of supporting the economy through the pandemic here.
There are a few Fed members speaking or making comments throughout the week too, but the biggies, of course, the Fed chair. So just a few other members making comments.
Yeah, so if you look at it, so
Each
today we
Wednesday.
have Brainard and Bostic speaking. Then tomorrow we have Evans speaking. Is this what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what else? I mean, it seems that also stocks that are tied to the reopening are doing really well, because the new daily cases here in the US are at their lowest level in a year. And this is where I think that the airlines are probably doing good. Yeah, United Airlines up this morning 1.07%. Probably the cruise lines as well. Yeah, up 1.3%. So this is definitely moving the markets here right now. So going into the week, Mark, what do you expect? What do you expect from the markets?
Well, we're off to a positive start. I think that's a good thing. And, with the NASDAQ snapping that 4-week losing streak, I think that wrapping up retail will be the focus. And if we see that 10-year yield, stay down, not a big jump there, no surprise there, I think we'll get a nice week to the upside.
Yeah, you know what? I think that this choppiness that we have seen over the past few weeks will continue, because there's no real news driving it right now. And so this where investors, I mean, they're like squirrels. Every day they're looking for something else to focus on. This morning they're coming into the week positive, refreshed from the weekend. So this is why we point to a higher start. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see this choppiness that we had continue and staying in this range that we have seen for the past few weeks. I mean, this here is the S&P, but if you're looking at the NASDAQ, I mean, the NASDAQ also very volatile here. Well, this had more of a downswing, but then a positive swing, upswing last week. So we'll see. I expect that volatility will still be back this week.
Yeah, I don't think volatility is going anywhere. And Bitcoin kind of set the tone over the weekend. But my money would be on a positive finish this week.
Anyhow, yeah. Hope
Trade
that
what
you're
you
enjoying
see,
these daily
not
updates.
what you think. That's
Huh?
my guess.
What's
Make sure to trade what you see, not what you think.
Trade what you see, not what you think. There we go. Perfect. Hey, sorry for the rocky start this morning. Hope that you enjoyed the show. If you did, give us a like, and on your way out, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the little notification bell. This way you get notified whenever we release a new video or when we are going live. All right. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.
Happy trading, everyone.